Okay, hello guys. Welcome back to another homework video. I'm Charlotte Foster. I'm a junior in Dr. Neat's 5th period class, and today we're going to be working on homework number 6. So the assignment for this one was to write a Java program that writes random integer values to the command window and stops the first time that they're the same. So in this example, we have all of these and then 589 twice, and so that breaks the program. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing I want to say for sure is that this does involve random integers. So you need to use a universal base code, because if you don't, then it won't recognize the random method, Canvas.rand. So even though we're not using the white window, we're still using a command that utilizes the Canvas class. So definitely make sure you start with a universal base code, even if we're not using mouse click or key press or the graphics window. And then so once you have that, the first thing we really have to do is we just have to generate a bunch of random integers. So I'll explain what check is in a minute. So we're going to start with a while true loop because we want to do this until something happens. So we're going to start with a loop. And then we declare this int output, which I said is Canvas.rand 1000. And then the way that Canvas.rand works, it generates a random number starting at 0 all the way to 1 less than what you said. So this is going to be from 0 to 999. So it's in 1,000 random numbers. But it's not 1 to 1,000. It's not 0 to 1,000. It is 0 to 999, which is what this says. We want 0 to 999, so we've got that. And then we're just going to print output, so we've declared it, and then we printed it. And the thing I want to say about Canvas.rand is I've talked to a couple APs that said that they had a hard time understanding it from the lab. And the cool thing about Canvas.rand is that you can use it. So this evaluates like an int, so you can store it in an int. Or if we're like making a rectangle, so if we make like rectangle rand equals new rectangle, right? You can use Canvas.rand as a variable. So this would be a rectangle with an x coordinate of, like I said, 0 to 999. So you can use it as parameters for methods, for constructors, for anything like that. So just don't be afraid to use Canvas.rand like that. Just treat it, this entire statement, as just as you would treat an int or like the number 1 or whatever. The cool thing about it is that we don't know what it is. So that's how Canvas.rand works. And then, okay, so we're going to make a random number. We're going to print it. And then the thing we want to do, this is where we really get into it, where it's like we want to break it if they're consecutive. So if check, which I said I explained, so check, the first time you go through the loop, check is 1,000. And I said it is 1,000 because, like I said, it's 0 to 999. So the first time through, check is not going to be the same as output. That's impossible. And then, but if it is, we're going to break. And then so the first time through, it's definitely not going to be. I've guaranteed that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to reassign check to output. So by doing that, we're going to have saved the value before it, right? So the one like right above it, when we generate a new value, because now check is the one that it was the first time. So then we generate a new value, we print it, and then we compare that value to the one we just printed out. Which for this example right here would work perfectly, because we would compare 589 on the bottom to 589 right above it, and it would break the program. So that is not a super long program. Just the most important thing is understanding Canvas.rand, and then knowing where to put this, because if you put it above it, then it won't work. So you have to put it down at the bottom. And then let me just show you guys. Just run it once. Yep, there we go. So we have 405 and 405. And I know this white window is annoying, but like I said, we have to use the universal base code. So 405, 405. We'll just do it one more time. Okay. And then the thing I want you to notice, it wasn't really easy to tell on those two runs. Let me run it one more time. But it will take different amounts of times for this to run, because we're generating a different amount of numbers. We don't know when, and the computer doesn't know when either, these two are going to be the same. Like, we don't know how many numbers it's going to take to do that. So let me run this one more time and see if you can see that it was a little different amount of time. Oh. Yeah, about the same, but you see what I'm saying though, right? Like, they're going to be different amounts of numbers. So one thing that Dr. Neat did for my period on Thursday, was that he gave APs a lecture about arrays. And so arrays are definitely probably came to mind if he gave you that lecture. And then as you can see, you don't need arrays in order to do this homework. And actually I would suggest very much not using arrays to do this, because the thing about arrays, right, so when we declare a new array, we need to know how many, so like if we have an int array, right, so we have int array rand, then we have rand equals new int, and then 1,000. The problem with this, like, this has 1,000 values in it. It has to have 1,000 values in it. It can't have 999. It can't have 1,001. It can't have 50. It has to have 1,000. And so, like I was saying earlier, with this, like, it'll break whenever there's 2 in a row. It doesn't matter if it's been 2 numbers, if it's been 7 numbers, if it's been 20,000 numbers. Like, it'll break only when there's been 2 in a row. And so with arrays, we can't really do that because this has to have 1,000 numbers, no more, no less. And so there's no way for us to guarantee, at least not while we're doing it properly, that the 2 numbers will be the 999th and the 1,000th number in the array. So because of that, we have to, like, I don't know if you can really use arrays to do this. I mean, if anybody's figured it out, like, dude, let me know down in the comments. But I just don't see a way that this would really work efficiently, because, like, it has to be 1,000. So that's kind of the point of me bringing arrays up, is that in order to do this, like, yes, it kind of sounds like the way that we learned arrays, which is we're making a giant list of numbers and then we're comparing them to each other, but we don't know how many numbers are going to be in that list. So, like, later on, you guys are going to learn how to do array lists, and array lists are really cool because you don't have to have this predetermined value. You can add stuff into array lists, you can remove stuff, you can do all kinds of stuff, but that's for later. So for right now, all we know is that we have to have an array and it has to have a certain number of things in it, and we can pick that, but once we've picked that, we can't change it. So for this program, I really wouldn't recommend using arrays. I would recommend just doing what I did, which I've already explained. So hopefully that helps you guys out, and if you have any further questions, comments, concerns, and if somebody figured out how to do it with arrays, let me know. But I think that concludes this video, so yeah, thanks.